Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. All right, so I just want to give you guys a really quick tip on your car if you guys have this problem. I had this issue yesterday and I thought it was the end of the world. The car has been working fine all day. The car's been working fine for months. Haven't had a big issue for maybe an O2 sensor issue that I got fixed. Was driving around all day yesterday, picking stuff up, dropping stuff off, going to Walmart, getting cat food, driving my cat off at the vet, picking the cat up, and then at the vet itself, after I picked the cat up, went back into my car and tried to start it, and nothing. All right, it had no power. But let me tell you guys what nothing means. Nothing means I tried to unlock the doors with the remote, didn't work. Nothing. It was nothing. I had to use the key for it to unlock the door. All right, once I got in, there was no chimes, there was no noise, there was nothing. Tried to turn it on, nothing. Just got nothing. Zero, 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 nothing. So the day was I had a pretty good day up until that point where I had absolutely zero power in the car, no lights, nothing. And it just scratched my head. It scratched my head. Actually, I scratched my head because I was thinking maybe it's a dead battery. Maybe it's a dead battery that's completely dead for an hour and I didn't even use my headlights. Nothing like that. Maybe it's 100% dead from like an hour of just not being in the car, which is not the first thing I thought about because the battery is fairly new. It was changed out like a year and a half ago, but it just stumped me. So I was like, you know what? Like nothing. Okay, power windows didn't work, headlights didn't work, radio didn't work, nothing on the dash. It's like there was no battery connected to the car. It was like there's no power connected to the car. Now, if you guys are in this situation and you guys don't know too much about fixing cars and those kinds of problems, you're like, wow, it's probably a huge issue. Gotta get a tow, gotta call AAA, gotta call a tow truck, because you guys wouldn't know what the big problem is in this situation. All right. So let me just make a long story short for you guys. And it was a semi-hot day. I didn't think that was gonna be the cause of any of those issues, but this is what I did as far as troubleshooting is concerned. So first thing I thought of was maybe something with the power supply, maybe something with the battery, issue. All right, maybe the battery's disconnected somehow. Maybe it's a broken ground wire. Maybe there's stuff on the terminals. Maybe there's a disconnect somewhere. So I opened up the hood and I checked out, you know, just to see what's going on. Went to the battery, checked out the battery. Battery looks clean. Battery looks clean. The terminals look pretty clean. Now I was thinking maybe there was a disconnect in the wire. Maybe the ground wire was somehow disconnected from the frame of the vehicle. So I was following the ground wire. I was tugging on the ground wire just to make sure maybe, you know, corrosion didn't break it or anything like that. And it was connected to the car. And I just made sure to see if there's any kind of rust, corrosion on where it's bolted onto the frame, and there's nothing. Everything's good. Everything's good. So I'm like, how would I test this out? Right? How would I test this situation out, considering I have zero power at all? All right, because I don't have any kind of multimeter in my car to check out the battery itself, just to see how many volts is on the battery. But if it was the battery, it would be completely drained, 100% drained, because even with a battery of a low charge, you would get some kind of, the alarm would still work, the remote would still work, you would get lights somewhere on the dash, couple lights, slow crank. Did not get any of that. It was like completely dead. Like if there was no battery in the car, if somebody had taken out the battery. So that's the situation that we're talking about. All right. That's the situation that I was talking about. So I was like, you know what? There's a Walmart a couple blocks away. Maybe I could go to Walmart. They have a whole bunch of stuff in the automotive section. I've reviewed a lot of that stuff. And I was like, maybe I could get a multimeter, because I was thinking about getting a multimeter a couple weeks ago. Not a multimeter, but they have a battery meter. A battery meter where you plug into the 12-volt socket. They got a battery meter where you hook up. Well, that's Harbor Freight that has that battery meter where you hook up to the battery itself. But I think I saw in Walmart a battery meter you plug into the 12-volt socket. And I considered getting that. But I was like, no. All right, because that's a couple of blocks away. It's kind of lazy. Had the cat. And obviously, I had to take the cat with me. Or I could have just dropped it off, and at the vet and have them look after it for maybe 30 minutes or something like that. But anyway, I was thinking to myself, let me see if I could get a jump. And I realized that I had a power pack, a booster pack. All right, I got one from Harbor Freight. It doesn't have a digital reader on this. It wouldn't be able to tell me what my battery voltage was. But I had about 75%. All right, I was thinking to myself, if it was a dead battery, I could just hook that up. And I hooked it up, started up, and I was thinking, worst case scenario, I'd get stuff on the, lights on the dash, something. Lights on the dash, lights on the radio playing. I'd get maybe a soft crank or maybe a click or something like that. That's what I was thinking of. All right. And hooked it up, powered on, 75% full. It should give me some kind of electricity if the battery is 100% dead, right? So once I hooked it on, once you hook it on, if it was a completely dead battery, you should hear chimes and ring and some kind of noise coming from the car, just when you open the door and stuff like that. So I was like, hooked it up, powered it up, and nothing whatsoever, just zero, completely dead, completely dead. Let me tell you guys, I was like, all right, so it had me scratching my head at that point. I was thinking to myself, why? No, I was thinking to myself, okay, so this could be a really bad situation or a really okay situation, because I kind of remember back when I had this situation before on another vehicle, and not even the same. Okay, I had this situation way back before, and not on this car. I think it was on a Nissan. And it kind of had the same issue. So I was like, all right, it's got to be something. It's not the relay. All right. I could cross that off. It's not the alternator. I crossed that off. It's not the battery. I could cross that off. I crossed off so many things. Every possible thing on the list I crossed off, except for that one thing. That one thing. Which is the fuse. I looked at the fuse box, I looked at the fuse box because I was thinking to myself, if there's no electricity now, I didn't have any kind of anything as far as any kind of testing instrument, as far as something to test out the voltage and see whether the fuses were getting power, etc., etc. So I was thinking to myself, all right, I was looking at the fuse box, and there is a main fuse. There's a main fuse that connects the battery to the fuse box, which essentially connects it to the entirety of the car. That main fuse, now, I couldn't tell whether that main fuse was the problem or not. But what I did have is two screwdrivers. Two screwdrivers. One was flat, one was a flips. You know what? They might have been two flatheads, but I was thinking to myself, just to make this story short, all right, I'll get to how you guys solve this problem. And you guys, if this is your problem, and chances are if you guys have the same symptoms, this is probably your fix. All right, so I was looking at the fuse and I'm like, you know what, this will be a really easy, cheap fix. A really easy, cheap fix if this is what's causing it. It's a $5 fuse from AutoZone, from Advanced Auto, from any of those places. So I was like thinking to myself, all right, so I got two screwdrivers. They're kind of long screwdrivers, medium size long. So I'm like thinking to myself, here's what I'm going to do. If the fuse is broken, that means there's no connection between one portion of the fuse to the other portion of the fuse. Now, I'm not telling you guys to do this. All right. But for me, I think I consider myself electrically inclined, you know. So I was thinking to myself, I'm going to connect the metal part of one of the screwdrivers to one part of the fuse. I'm going to connect the other part of the screwdriver to the other part of the fuse, and then I'm going to create an X where the screwdrivers actually make contact. One screwdriver make contact with the other screwdriver, and you know, if it's the fuse itself, it would start. So that's what I did. Once I connect the two portions of the screwdriver where the flat head of the screwdriver is connected to the fuse, and I crossed it, started hearing noises. So I knew, beep beep beep, like I knew that it was the main fuse that was the cause of this power outage, which is what I call as a power outage. All right, this disconnect between the power source, which is the battery, and the rest of the car, which is the fuse box. So I pulled the fuse out. Now, I'm not sure whether I pulled the fuse out and then connected the two portions that way where it was in the socket. But anyway, if you guys have like a wire, you guys could do that. All right, you guys have like a thicker wire, you guys could actually do that. Now, I actually had a wire. So what I did was I actually hooked up the wire where I connected two portions of the fuse. Now, I'm not telling you guys to do this. This is what I did. You know, you guys could go and buy a fuse, you know, but that AutoZone was, you know, like a couple miles away. So I wasn't going to get it towed. Didn't want to spend money on a tow truck. So I actually took the wire, kind of crimped it, and pretty much used that as a fuse, popped it in, and it started right up, no problems. Drove it to AutoZone, got the fuse, pop it in, and it's been working right ever since. It's been working good ever since. It's been working excellent ever since. That was my fix. And if you guys have your car with these symptoms, definitely check that out, because it'll probably fix your issue in a pinch. And just to end this, hope this has helped you guys out. If you guys have any comments in the comments section, please leave a comment in the comment section. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. All that good stuff, right, guys? Take care.